Good.
Convicted. Convicted? Where are you reading?
Oh, acceptance. My bad. Hey, Mike.
Okay. So we have, let's see, how can I put this pretty? We have, different either new faces or a lot of faces are gone, this last week. Some of them were successful discharge and some of them walked out. Some others were just
Not able to make it back.
in a line of trouble,
Not able to make it back.
not able to make it back. That's a very good way of putting it.
said a lot of triple.
Covering outside the lines.
I'm trying.
You don't open it.
So, it all boils down to either you making, those decisions, right? Those good decisions, let me stick through, let me do what I gotta do, follow the program, the rules and the regulations of the program and or probation, parole, pretrial, whatever it is that you have, or let me just be, honest with myself and let me just do exactly what is it that I need to do and, avoid trouble and avoid, trying to deal with other stuff. This is the second time I'm getting it. The next time I'm not printing it out anymore.
Well, you didn't do it to me.
Yes, I did.
Put all the things up.
Well, same difference. Same difference.
Anybody can take stuff off the table.
And whose fault is that?
The person who took it off the table, and the person who put it on.
But I told you I was gonna leave it there for you. Decisions, again, blaming. You are responsible for your own stuff. We can only help you do what you gotta do and help you get where you need to get, but it's up to you and it's your own responsibility to get there. So, having people outside external, community or resources calling in here, sending us email, asking us, telling us to do stuff, no. We already told them that we gave you what we need to give you, so you gotta own up to your own responsibility. Bruce, how many times have you called and asked for something and it was given to you one time? It's your responsibility to get it done, your responsibility to make sure it gets there. This whole blaming gotta stop, man. We gotta be responsible, we gotta be adults. We have to manage ourselves. When you guys get out there, you're on your own. There is no Mr. Ben print, Miss Margarita print. There's no, let me blame it on Clint. Prime example over here, not for nothing, but Bruce got it together, man. He knows what he needs to do, calls, gets it done, and let's move forward. I'm just using you as an example because I hear you. But let's be responsible for our own stuff.
Bruce, you got on your Timberlands.
These are not Timberlands.
Timberlands.
They look nice, though. I
You
told
remember though,
you.
you remember when you
A
know.
lot better than the damn pump area on Saturday.
I'm rocking them, man.
Save your legs.
You know what I was saying.
Let's get on this. Acceptance and commitment. Accept and move forward. So, trying to tie this up together with decision and acceptance, where we are, what we're doing, being mindful of what it is that we need to do. So when you guys get out there, you make the right decisions. Now, some people get upset, get mad because we're harsh, we're hard, are you attacking me, you're this and the other. Okay, whatever. Out there, you won't be able to tell whoever that. Can't tell a cop that, can't tell probation that, can't tell pretrial that. Think about it. You're being held accountable for your own. So being able to accept what is it that you do, what is it that you need to do is the first step. The whole, I don't know, well, get it together and know. So we can't always change the circumstance that causes stress. And sometimes we can't even influence them. For example, you can't always leave a difficult job or get a raise when finances are tight. There will always be some difficult people you simply need to deal with. This circumstance can be a challenging one in dealing with an addiction. So let's pretend we all have an addiction, we're full of stress, we don't know how to manage this, and we gotta deal with different personalities. I was telling somebody yesterday in MRT that sometimes there are 60 people, but if 60 people have 4 different personalities, just think about it. That's 240 personalities you gotta deal with. So that's a lot. Some stress simply must be managed. It can be life-changing when you find strategies to help you deal with stress in a way that will minimize negative effects. The use of a substance of stressors in one's life and mindfulness strategies mixed in different ways with commitment and behavior change strategies can increase psychological and emotional flexibility. So what does that mean? Emotional flexibility. So if you're educated and you know a lot about different personalities, and what we do here is just educate, educate on addiction, educate on mental health, educate on drugs, educate on coping skills, on trauma, all those things. It's just to educate you. It's not saying everybody in here is suffering from that. It's just education. But just know that the more you know, the more you are able to accept and deal with other people, because you understand. If you understand something and you know about something, there's no room for you to get mad. And there's no room for you to take it personal, because you understand, you know about something. We get frustrated and we get stressed out and we walk out and we get pissed off when we don't know about something. When we're not sure what it is that they're talking about, we're not sure what's happening. That's when we get upset. Yes, sir.
Real quick, when are you doing MRC? When yesterday, what was it, you're doing it on Friday?
Yes.
Okay. I get 67 though. Okay, I was just curious.
Okay, so emotional flexibility, yes, sir.
Would you say that emotional flexibility is like a way of adapt?
Emotional flexibility is when you're able to understand why people feel the way they feel, and you won't take it personal, it won't bother you. Do you want to use an example? Okay, so let's say that I am talking to myself and I'm having a whole blown conversation with myself. And all you're doing is just looking at me, watch me make faces, talk and say and laugh. But you, an educated man, know that, well, that there is a mental health condition that people do that. They do have a conversation of their own, they laugh, they talk, they curse, they say, they carry on. Because you understand that, you will just leave me alone and let me be. Because if somebody's having that episode, you don't interrupt. As long as they're not hurting you or anybody else or themselves, you can just let it be. Now, somebody who's uneducated or doesn't know and they see someone doing that, you may go in there, you might try to say something to that person, not a right thing to do. Or somebody will laugh and mock that person, again, wrong thing to do. Flexibility meaning that you're able to understand that different ways, different people. It gives you the opportunity to understand why the person is doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I learned that a lot.
10 seconds.
Yes, sir.
I learned that like that. That's one reason my uncle had this issue. He passed on now, but like being younger and seeing him go through that to the point where when I see people, I can deal with him because of what he went through. You feel what I'm saying? 'Cause I used to be around him all the time. So like, you're right, even when he was at the house, we didn't used to mess with him. He'll go cussing and spitting and doing shit like that. And
Yeah.
talking, and, you know what I'm saying? So we used to have to like kind of back up off Uncle Larry, you all right? Yeah. He'll cuss you out, whatever. But when you come back around, he'll be all right like that. But that taught me to get like certain people who I see like that, they're going through, they have an episode. Like
Yeah.
that. So you can't, And that, like, I did like that, because I used to see him do that. They'll turn on you and try to hurt you, because they'll think that you're trying to do something to them.
Right.
They're talking to somebody, or whoever they're talking, or whatever they got going on. And then it'll come into view, you're the person who they're talking to. Now. You're like, hey, man, you, they'll go fake shit. He done did that shit before. And you gotta pull that shit out, man, you done did
Yeah.
shit like that, yo.
It's true. Before when I was doing nursing school and I was actually doing my internship in a psych ward, we had to understand different personalities, mental health, we understand all that stuff, right? So, I will go home and I'll tell my mom the story, and she's like, I don't understand why you do that. Why do you get yourself in that line of work? That's so dangerous. She didn't understand. I understood it well. These people still need help. These people still need somebody to, take care of them, be with them and nurse them, whatever. So to the point that one time, there was this lady that she was really old, and she had dementia really bad. In her mind, she was still 13 years old, and she was in the Bronx. Not the Bronx, she was not 13. And she'll get startled, she'll get scared, and she'll be like something like a chair like that, she'll get startled and it'll annoy her, like she'll start cursing. So one day her and I were having a conversation, and somebody came from behind her and they scared her. So she took the stick and she hit me in the face.
Oh,
Yeah. So I got stitches, all together, but I knew not to, reflect and like not hit her back. I knew not to do that. But if you interview anybody else and what's behind the history, you'll do right? I didn't, because I understand the flexibility that she is who she is. That was not in her right state of mind. So, it was what it was. So that's what I mean by psychological and emotional flexibility, that you see things, you don't take it personal. You don't respond back. You don't come back and you're not combating with a person. So we all have to understand that sometimes a person may look good and smile and they're very nice, but you don't know what's going on in their brain. You don't know what's going on emotionally. Mental health and emotional delusions do not have a face. You can't say, oh yeah, you look like today. No, you don't. You look like you every day. Okay, so let's move on. Anybody have any questions on psychological emotional flexibility? No? No?
John,
Yes, sir.
it's kind of similar to what you were speaking yesterday about emotional intelligence, flexibility, and being able to fit things in the right scenario so your brain can deal with it.
There is also so emotional flexibility and psychological also have a lot to do with trust. And that's something that's practiced here. When you guys are allowed to go out to work, there's trust given to you to go out and work. You guys go out to appointments, meetings, interviews, whatever, hospital, wherever it is that you go, there is trust given to you to go do what you gotta do, and you will come back. So we can understand that if you do something you're not supposed to do, we know that the chances are you might do the wrong thing. So really nobody's really coming down on you so hard in here for the most part. It's more probation or pre-trial. That's what I mean by the flexibility. That sometimes you understand that if a person may get lost because they don't understand their way around here, well, we know, we can understand. There are some people who will not understand these things. Yes, sir.
If someone's on medication and they still do act like that on their lives, then wouldn't that medication stop it?
So medication, you will manage it. The problem with medication is that you have to find the right regimen. A lot of people, I think I mentioned this before, when you have a evaluation with your psychologist or psychiatrist, you make sure that you give them all your history. You give them all of your history, your diagnosis, past medications. This way, they have a very clear point idea of what is that you may need. But if you start to leave things out, well, now you're leaving them to guess, oh, is it this or is it that? Does anybody have seen a DSM-5 book, that big book? So for the most part, we need to know that book. Because not only do you have the diagnosis, you also have the 5 axes that come underneath it. And it was just revised not too many years ago, so we had to go back and relearn all that stuff.
The 5 axes,
Mm-hmm.
axe, A,
AXIS one,
Oh.
2, 3, 4, 5. So you said medication, well, it takes, a good regimen, and it has to kick in your system for it to start to balance it out. Some people get it right on the T the first time, and it works very well for them, they're able to be stable, but some people will still have the fluctuality of it. Because one, probably the medication regimen is not correct, and two, they probably have other medications that they're taking, and now they're just having an impact
Yeah. And opposite.
and outright the other ones.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, you have to be very honest with your doctor, just so they are able to give you the exact regimen that you, need to function. Okay, any other questions? One more. Do you think that, okay, so you guys get up in the morning, those of you that work, okay, you guys get up in the morning, you go to work, you pray that, or you just focus and you tell yourself, well, today I'm just gonna go to work, come back home. And let's just say that you are in the presence of a situation, circumstance, as it says in here, that has something to do with you, but you're just standing there. What should you do?
Walk away.
Walk away, walk around, but wouldn't then that just make it obvious that maybe you've done something? Remember, we're all guilty at any given point. If there's always a witness. There's always I saw, he looks like, she looks like. Avoid this situation altogether if possible. You see it happening over there, go this way. You see it happening over there, or across the street, go this way. Because you don't want to get caught up in the middle of he said, she said.
Foolishness.
Foolish. That's the right word. Okay, the principles, 6 core principles to help develop psychological flexibility. I hope this answers your question, sir. What is your name? Omar. Okay, cognitive diffusion, learning to perceive thoughts, images, emotions, and memories as they are, words and pictures, rather what they appear to be, learning events of truth. So, perception, how do you see something? What did you see? What is it that you're taking away from what a person is saying? Are you the type of person that are going to say something the minute the person takes a breath, or are you going to stay shallow and listen? Which one are you?
Personally, both.
Both. I like that because that is actually true. We've seen that here. Somebody's speaking, they're asking you a question, they're asking something of you, the person is so quick to say something, and it's like, well, let me finish speaking because I'm not. Just tell you. So words and pictures. There's a lot of times that people will understand a message clear when it comes from a picture as opposed to reading. Okay. Any questions about this? Okay, acceptance. This is the big one. Do you guys know why you're here? I'm sorry. Thought and process of behavior. Acceptance. Does everybody here know why they're here? Yeah? Do you know what you're supposed to do here? Yeah?
180.
Huh?
180.
180. So allowing thoughts to come and go without struggling with them. So acceptance. You're here, you did what you did. You are here facing whatever it is that you're facing, whether it's forced or whether it's voluntarily. But what are you going to do now to make this better? It's your question. It's your story. It's your question. A lot of people say, I don't know why I'm here. I don't understand why I'm here. Well, that's something that we need to talk about then, because you're going to sit here for either 3 months or 6, 12, or 18 months, and you're not going to know why you're here. Well, that's a lot of time you're wasting. Being able to move forward with yourself and your life will happen once you have accepted your past. Does that make sense? Okay. What do you think, Aaron? Aaron's about to leave.
Who is there?
Who is Aaron? Somebody said. This is Aaron right here. So, what do you think about acceptance, Aaron?
Yeah, admitting to the fact, not trying to sugarcoat, be real with yourself. Admit your wrongdoing.
If you do all that, you'll be able to be okay with yourself, to accept and move on. So your past experience should be your lessons.
Yeah, it should be a lesson.
Okay, so your past experiences should be your lessons. So who has accepted their past experiences in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people, 14, 15, 16, 16 people.
Mario 17.
I counted it.
Oh,
I got you. So, acceptance. I really want everybody to understand what acceptance is. Because if you haven't accepted the fact that you did whatever you did and you're okay with whatever you did, okay, and you have amends with yourself for whatever you did, that's really the only way you're able to move forward to the next step of your life, the next chapter. And I tell you this, go ahead.
how many times can you put the past behind?
As many as you wish. Pay your own pace.
You know what I mean? But
Tell me.
do you learn from it?
You should learn from it.
From the past.
You should. You should learn from it, of
It
course.
seems like you get more stressed out when you put stuff in the past, reflect on what you did.
Then you need to accept it. If you accept it and you understand that you did it, then you'll be able to learn from it. Like Aaron said, you're not gonna sugarcoat it no more, don't beat it, don't get mad, don't blame yourself. It's done, it's done. Just accept it and move on to the next thing. How many times are you going to replay it and go over it and think about it? You can think about it, it's your life, it's your story, but just don't dwell on it, don't beat it no more. That's it, it's done. Okay, contact with the present moment. Contact with the present moment. So awareness, oh yes, sir, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying, like the saying, don't try with still milk.
If I spill milk, I'm gonna drink because I love milk. I'm get up off the table.
Leave us older guys
My
alone.
fat ass.
I swear to God, I just saw a cat.
Hey,
I don't wanna see,
I'm tired.
I don't wanna see.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna do it.
oh, no. Are you crazy?
Water under the bridge.
What is that?
Water under the bridge.
Water under the bridge.
Well, here's what it's throwback time, man. Throwback time. Put them back there, hold on. Don't take the water under the bridge. Don't take the spoil milk. Y'all know what that means?
You can't change it. There was somebody in here, I think they left. Somebody here said that 20 years ago they did, they were doing the pyramid. 20 years ago, I did what I was not supposed to do. Instead, I should have been in college, I should have graduated college. This gentleman said this. So he said, but overall, it doesn't matter because I'm not gonna get that time back. But I'm gonna make it better now. So that's acceptance. Yeah, you're not gonna get the time back, that's it, it's over. 1985, 1995, 2005, 2015, no longer will be. So whatever you did because you wanted to do it at that time. So don't live your life with so much regression because then you're not gonna be able to move forward. You're going to become a very, very bitter old person that will hate everything. You know what I mean? Like, listen, if you did whatever you did last year, July 4th, most of you were not here. July 4th, you did whatever you did You accepted. You had fun, or you didn't have fun, but you accepted. That time you're never gonna get back. But at least you know that you did whatever you did this year is something different. Next year will be something different. You're gonna be here. I hope you're gonna be here. You're gonna be at the beach, you see it, so Scott said. Scott said he's having a barbecue, you can all go. All right, number 3. Contact with the present moment. So awareness of here and the now, experience with openness, interest and receptiveness. The here and the now. So we're here, we're doing group, we're here today, we're gonna be here all day, we're gonna be here tomorrow, and then come next week, and you still gotta do whatever it is that you have to do in order to do your MRT, to go to work, to phase up, to go to group, to go to your doctor's appointments, to go to work,
This,
whatever it is you gotta do.
that word you just said, receptiveness, is that the same as acceptance? Are you recepting something in, is that what that means?
Receptiveness.
No, that's what it Oh, you're accepting something in? So it's not the same.
This acceptance means you're allowing, you're okay with whatever happens, you're okay with it, fine, I got it, I did it. This one is more, well, let me welcome something else in. Welcome something else. The observing self. Learn to observe and react to others, to your behavior as if they were behaviors of someone else. That is what Omar said. Learn to absorb and react to behaviors as if they were the behaviors of someone else. So, when you react to something or you do something, or somebody else does something, you gotta see yourself in it. Put yourself in that situation. Put yourself in that person, put yourself in that place, put yourself in there to see if it's something that you would do or if it's something you wouldn't do. Which one?
That's hard.
It is hard. Of course.
Some people are just on a different level, man. I can't put myself in some of these people's shoes. I'm not just saying everybody in here in life, but I can't.
So this is more of a reflection.
I understand what you're saying.
It's more of a reflection. So we should all learn from each other. So you see someone do something, you see the consequences, and you say to yourself, I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
Or you understand that maybe that person is just not all there mentally, so they do what they do because that's how they are. So you say to yourself, I don't have to do that. I don't have that. Just seeing yourself in something and being accepted of the fact that it doesn't have to be you, but it can be you. Sometimes it's not even a choice. You know,
I
someone,
wonder why they don't have like mental health rehabs.
we should have mental health rehab.
This one
Why
is,
they
right?
send people to like a rehab and they have like mental health?
Because there's a difference. You understand?
I mean, I know the reason, I just wanted to hear from you. So I know the reason, I just want to hear from you.
Oh, well,
Obviously, state shit.
well, look, there are mental health rehabilitations in the state of Florida, Broward County. There's one that's called SPAR, the level 1 residential mental health treatment center, where there are people who are assigned or actually court ordered to go there, are people who are really mentally challenged. Now, these are the people who also have behavioral health issues. Some of them have substance abuse issues, which means that they can go off the hinges,
Yeah.
really high, really drunk. They go and they have mental health issues as well. So they will go and hurt themselves or hurt others. They are sent to that place. In that place, they will teach them how to eat, how to walk, and how to take their medication because they don't know. That's the level 1 that they're on. That's level 1. So that's a mental health rehabilitation center. And they can only go out 1 day an hour. For the whole time they're inside, giving out groups and sessions and in their room. That's forensic. So, yes,
Does that mean level 1
That's level
The higher you go is the less you eat.
No, the higher you go, the better it is.
That's what I mean.
Level
Better.
one is restriction.
Because normally you go high, it works. So
Not
the
here.
lowest
That's why I
in
said
mental
right
health
around
is bad.
And then you have level three. Level three is you go, you come, you do, here's level two. You can go, you're flexible, you can move around, there's no restrictions, you're moving, there's no locks, nobody's locking you in, no one is doing none of that. You're
I'm
able to
level
go,
zero.
you're able to go outside. Some people in here are at level three, they can go out.
Would you say that the observe itself is like acknowledging, correcting, any negative behaviors?
That too.
Okay, and pretty much like judgment and stuff like that, just catch yourself doing it and try to not do it anymore, correct?
Right, if it's, if you're judging, then you shouldn't be judging.
Shouldn't be judged, right?
But you observe.
Correct.
And you can tell yourself, I will never do that, or well, thank God that's not me.
Right.
Because a lot of it has to also do with it's out of your control. So things
That's
that,
acknowledging somebody else's mistakes or even within yourself. Usually when you find somebody's mistake or flaw, it's because you have it within
that's
yourself.
correct. That's putting yourself in that situation. Any other questions? No? Also, when a person ODs or a person is so high or so drunk, they go and they hurt themselves, they fall, they have accidents, and then they end up with a broken hip, a broken leg, a broken knee, a broken something, they will go back, they will go into what's called an drug rehabilitation center. Learn how to walk again, move again, range of motions and all that stuff. So, Jason, to answer your questions, is going. Okay, where are we? Zero self.
Values.
Right, values, discovering what is most important to oneself. What is the one thing that's more important to yourself? Honesty?
Family.
Me, I'm talking myself.
Okay.
Staying in recovery.
Staying in recovery.
Humility.
Family.
Family, okay. Staying in recovery is actually the actual answer that everyone should say. That's just gonna get you, out of here, that's gonna get you out of trouble, that's gonna keep you in line, this is gonna keep, when you hit your apex, you know you're not gonna collapse because you know exactly what it is that you're doing, and you're gonna know how to do it. Any questions, Joshua? Good? Okay, in MRT, a lot of guys are focusing on the fun, the facts, the I want to. Do you know that MRT is supposed to tie it in with your drugs, addiction, and rehabilitation, and or not rehabilitation, addiction and recovery?
I know that now.
You're supposed to tie
What was
it
that?
to your addiction.
Yeah, it's about, remember, it's your story. So
Oh,
your
right.
addiction, your past, your recovery, and your sobriety.
I just want you to repeat what you said.
MRT wraps around sobriety, addiction, and recovery. You remember?
I just started.
I
I
know.
started reading.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool. Yes, I'm sorry.
Mark, when you said rehabilitation and change it to recovery, could you explain the difference?
What was that?
Rehabilitation and recovery.
That's what we're talking about with Jason. Okay, so what is the definition to you? What is it that you think addiction is?
Addiction is a condition, that we put blood, alcohol, whatever it is.
But it could be with anything.
Addiction is like one of those, allergy, like a food allergy, you addicted to it, you can't stop.
It's like.
Yes and no. Remember, addiction is not only about drugs and alcohol.
Gambling. Well, codependent, gambling, overeating.
Okay, so you know the definition of addiction.
But is it, I'm sorry, it's gotta vary from one to the other though, because I'm addicted to chocolate chip cookies. Ain't gonna kill me, but if I'm addicted to heroin or cocaine, that's gonna kill me, right? See, is it a difference?
That non-civil or is not.
Yeah, about 40 years, but.
Eventually. So, anything over increments, anything surpass binges, anything that you abuse is bad for you.
And you hate the word addiction, don't you?
Abuse then becomes an obsession, yes.
You hate the word addiction.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't hate it.
You hate using it, remember? You
I
said
don't
it.
like, no, I don't like using the word
Label.
addicts.
Addicts. Oh, addicts, my bad. I thought it was addiction.
No. It's just addicts, I don't like, the addicts, I don't like people serve, I don't like clients. I don't like that. I'd rather Mr., if I don't know your name, it'll just be Mr., sir, I refrain from all that stuff.
Oh, I know it was one of them, I wasn't sure which one.
It's all of them, all three of them.
But is it an addict also addiction? I'm an addict to cookies, I'm an addict to sex, I'm an addict. Does it mean the same?
Well, if you're doing too much of something, you become addicted to something, then you become obsessive.
When it's taking up too much time,
Oh,
That's when they come back.
Okay. Committed to action. We can do this faster, we can really finish our second hour with this fast. Committed action. Set goals according to value and carrying themselves out responsibly. Commitment. Are you gonna commit yourself to the program and finish and do what you gotta do in here? So you don't have to come back, you don't have to go to jail. You graduate successfully and mow your life. Now, that is just commitment in here. But what about your commitment outside?
nobody can speak of that right now, really.
Why not?
Because how can I commit myself to something that I haven't even got to yet?
Okay,
It's like projecting the future.
exactly, and why not? We can project the future.
That's a plan.
Because each minute brings something different, so how,
That's correct. You're absolutely right. But if you all have acceptance, and you know exactly what you're doing, and you know exactly what you need to do, and you're a grounded man, the sky can fall, but you're not gonna fall. But if you are weary and you don't know whether you're coming or going, and you're in or you're out, well, then
Like step six. I like that. What you want to do this year, in a year, 5 years, 10 years, master goals. That's a plan. That's your future. Your future is a plan.
that's what's in here.
That's step 6. What are you gonna do? That's a plan. Like you gotta have something. You gotta have something for the next step. Like, what are you gonna do when you get to this point? You gotta have a plan. Like, you're sitting here now, okay, when I get at this point in my life, when I do this in recovery, when I phase up right here, that's the plan. Okay, when I get blue, I got to go out to work. I'm gonna save money. I'm gonna transition out of here to go here. I'm gonna have to go back home. I'm gonna have this. How I'm gonna get back to work? How I'm gonna do this? You gotta have a plan. It's a planning process. Okay, when I get out of here, I'm gonna do this, do that, do this, do that. And you got to work towards your plan. Like you said, if the sky falls, you still gonna be grounded because you're grounded. If you weary and unbalanced, you're gonna fall every time. You're gonna fall every time because you don't have no foundation. You're not standing on anything. You're just going with the flow. See what I'm saying? The ship just steady sinking. You're trying to steady. You feel me? Yeah, exactly. You feel me? You just on every corner.
Yeah.
You don't have your own stability. You don't have your own shit going on. That's because you don't have a plan. You're just, I have a plan.
Yeah.
So I'm moving forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like Ben said yesterday though, I was gonna mention that, but I wasn't quite sure what step it was about the goal setting and all that. Like Ben says, on Fridays, himself makes plans and goals for the weekend. But when the Saturday comes, I'll put that plan on for later. I'll put this plan on for later. And it never gets done. So you with step 6, we plan all these goals.
Nah.
And all these things.
It's a total different way.
No,
I said it like that, but it was
I know what you said.
worded.
he said when he does not write them down. When I don't write them, I make all these plans on Friday, but I don't write them down. And then when the time the weekend comes, if I do think about him, he's already like, you know.
Did I say it wrong?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah, it's somebody when he writes them down. Step 6, you're actually writing them down.
Or he goes another way with it, he goes somewhere else.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Then I misunderstood it.
yeah.
But it's sort of the same thing. Even if I write it down, doesn't mean I'm gonna follow through with it.
Should have wrote down what Vince said.
That's where the
Maybe
commitment comes in.
a board, maybe you get a board like that. You write things down, maybe home.
Voice recorder.
Write your,
Like he
no,
said
because
too.
you
That's
can
not a
see
bad
it.
idea.
But
You
he,
see,
With a helmet on.
because I'm here.
but he also said too, Ms. Marguerite, you go to people's houses and they have their schedule, okay, I gotta take Sally to school at 7.
Number 1, words and pictures. A lot of people don't grasp words. A lot of people are better understanding pictures. It's called,
Oh.
MRT.
I'm
That's exactly why you
That's
had the
where he was
picture.
going.
Oh my gosh.
They write it for like 6-year-olds.
the only fucking picture, that's like phonics.
Oh, wow.
So it's funny. If you see it as a picture, oh, I gotta do this. Okay, remind me together.
That's
The best thing that I learned
Guys,
during the years, if I have like a checklist, make like a checklist. Early in the morning, you wake up, you do a to-do list,
right.
and you order them, like, what's the most important, that's going to be the first one. Maybe during the day, you're not going to get to number 5, but at least if you get like maybe 10 out of 5, you're okay. Then the next day, continue on that list. That's the only way you will be able to stay on schedule.
Right, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree, what you're saying about, what we were talking about writing it down, and that would be, for me, that would be part of committed action, because I've been here, my wife's been trying to tell me that for years, you know, you want to do all these things, but write them down.
Yeah.
And then, but I never do it, so, like what Mike was saying, we got all these plans, we got all these things we want to do, it could be 20 things we want to do in our future. But it'll really help to write it down and then, you know, like break that down, like if you say you want to, whatever, open a business. That's a big, you know, thing, and that requires a lot of little steps, so you would take that goal, right, write it down on a separate piece of paper, and then see what little goal is, you know, you got to do behind it, so part of the committed action is that I don't want to do that, I don't want to write anything down, right? So it's like forcing yourself to do it because it being suggested, because the people around me, like the professionals and the people that, you know, that like in my personal life that love me, they're telling me these things, you know, write it down. So committed action, you know, like it could be like anything. You're trying to exercise, you're trying to eat better, you're trying to, whatever you're trying to do, it requires some effort. So you gotta, I don't think it's gonna be easy, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah. That's true. Nothing good is ever easy. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be a challenge, it's gonna be being disciplined. There is no but in discipline. There's no letter B, there's no letter U, and there's no letter T in discipline. There is no but in discipline. So what does that mean? That you have, if you're disciplined to do something and you're committed to do something, there shouldn't be a but.
No excuses.
It's like when we first got here, you know, you talk to Clint, it says, what do you want to do when you're here? He writes out a list of everything you said, you know, checks off every little thing that I did, you know, and then with the, what was it, recovery plan, you know, check off things that you did. If you didn't do that one yet, okay, I'm gonna do that later, I'm gonna do that next week. But, you know, it's a list of things you want to do and have to do, and just check it off. And really start that day you get here.
Yeah.
You know?
So you have this master checklist, right? Every day I'm going to do 1 through 5. Or 1 through 8 because, what is it, 11 to 7, 8 hours of the day. That never gets done. I'll be honest with you, we all come in here with, oh, I'm gonna do this, 11, 12, Zoom meeting, group, okay, we have these hours in the middle to do notes, see clients, do this, do that, MRT, bios, we have 18 people coming in next week, by the way. So, 3 people, 3 of us, okay. So, it never gets done. This list of things that we are going to project in our minds, oh, this is how I'm gonna do it, it never gets done. Never, ever, ever gets done. There has not been any of us in here who can say, oh, I've checked off 5 things in my list to do for the day. Because there's so much thrown at you, and it's gotta get done. It has nothing to do with your list. But, if you are a rounded person, and you are disciplined, and you have good time management, and you have good skill set to say, you know what? I'm gonna put my fingers on the side, let me get all this work done, let me not complain, let me not nag, let me not talk garbage, let me not criticize, let me not waste my time. It gets done. That's the discipline over but. So if we think that way every day for ourselves for the rest of our lives, we're gonna get a lot of things done. There's gonna be a lot of professional people in here that I'm gonna see in LinkedIn with a good profile. You guys know what LinkedIn is?
LinkedIn?
It's like a business profile online.
Oh.
Not the town car, but
Oh.
You have your hand up.
Think about it. I started doing my, weekly goal list when I got here, and, the steps I have to take towards those goals. And just like you're saying, it takes practice to become that way. We don't like, I'm like him, I don't really like to write things down, but every book I've read about being successful and what people, 7 habits, what successful people do, all of them talks about that. So it's not something that you just actually just have, not everybody just have that skill set. But you have to create, setting goals and writing down, it's called the skill set. You have to create it, make it a habit, you got to just start doing it, and you might lay off, I might lay off a week, but I'll get back on it. Okay, I ain't do that week, I ain't go down my goal. And you have to practice it, to start implementing that in your life. It just don't come overnight, especially if you ain't had it. You're not used to doing it, but it's possible to become that way because those steps you take, just like what it said, the committed action, setting goals according to the values and carrying them out. The values, what's more important to you? If you set them towards what's more important to you and what you prioritize them, we in a program now, we're gonna have things, distractions, little small things that's so much easier to do than to go work on your MRT for this hour. But the MRT is more important to you. You wrote that goal down, you said it, so you know what you got to do. So then I'll actually put a time when I'm gonna do it. That's more important to me at this time. Jeffrey say it's 1 o'clock, I'm supposed to go do this. Then he see me walk, let's play a game of chess. Yeah, I wanna go play that game of chess, but hey, I already said I'm gonna do this at 1 o'clock. And that's kind of way out, especially in a place like this, when you're on the street, you leave out the house and your homeboy pull up in the car, hey, boy, let's go do this. That's simple, that's a distraction from what's more important to you. You need to go doing something that's important. And those little distractions will take you away from, so you have to practice not letting the little distractions take you away from what's more important. And if you don't, those little distractions when you get out there on the streets are all around you, even more for a person.
So in here, right, there is rules, regulations to follow, to do, things to do, time scheduling. times to do things you can't, there are times you can't do whatever, go to bed, wake up. When you are back home in your home, you still have a schedule to follow. If you guys are going to work, if you have small children, if you have responsibilities that you gotta pick up where, you left off, there's still rules and regulations and things that you have to do. There will always be a plan, there will always be things that you need to execute. Now, there are some people who are not so good at writing stuff, you're right. That's a learned skill, that's something that you have to pick up and do. It's not something that you know to do. A lot of people don't know how to do it. A lot of people don't know of that concept. So it's up to you to say, well, this works for me instead of that. This works for me instead of that. Some people have alarms in their cell phone. They'll beep off when you need to go do something. Some of us write stuff down. Whatever works for you is what you do for yourself. Just make sure that your stuff gets done when it needs to get done. All right. Mindfulness and meditation. And we got 5 minutes. Anybody have any questions now? Any questions on the 6 principles? Cognitive diffusion, acceptance, contact with the present moment, observing self, values, and commitment. Let me tell you, if you have values and you respect yourself, there is no need for, honestly, I'll tell you the truth, there's no need to be writing shit down. You know what you gotta do, you gotta do it, you just get it done. If it's gonna work for you, then just get it done. If it's gonna service you, not disservice you, get it done. The excuses and the buts and the well and the but, no. That right there.
What is, somebody said something, but stands for something, I don't remember what, like you don't wanna accomplish something?
I never heard that. Was it an acronym?
Marcus said it.
Everything out the butt is bullshit.
Yeah, that.
But you know.
Bud kind of discredits everything before it.
Just heard that.
What'd you say?
Bud discredits everything before it.
And also, mine is, there's no but in discipline, period. Period. There's no but in discipline. Because if you are gonna start off but, then you have no discipline. You're not there yet. You haven't accepted where you are, you have no values, you're still in the I'm not sure, I don't know stage. And then maybe you need to go back and accept what it is that you have to do, what it is that you've been doing, and then in order for you to understand that you need to change.
But
And
Linda,
do things a little bit better.
but
But there's
Linda,
no but in discipline.
but Linda.
Huh?
But Linda,
Linda?
but Linda, you remember that little boy?
We'll be back at 10:30, okay?
But Linda.
But Linda.
You can imagine what I went through.
You have to make sure you get everything signed before me. If you don't have it, I'm not going to do it. I'm not supposed to do that. Sometimes gone. You have to make sure you get everything before meeting.
Hey, Miss Margarita, you want me to stop this?
Yeah.